Hello. So in this video we're going to talk about Drew Hayden Taylor's play Girl Who Loved Her Horses. Now I really like Drew Hayden Taylor. All of the plays of his that I've read so far I've really enjoyed. Girl Who Loved Her Horses is a young adult's play or a children's play, and I don't normally read young adults plays or literature. I'm nothing against it. Inherently, it's just not normally something that I gravitate toward. But this play is actually really, really good. And part of the reason that it's such an interesting play is that it deals with a lot of difficult issues. And actually, I mean, in my experience, limited though it is, that's something that's very common for young adults literature and children's literature, is that they deal with very difficult, challenging societal issues in a way that is rooted in personal experience. And that's, I think, a really effective approach to take to social problems. So the play starts out with these three characters, Ralph and Shelley, who are siblings, and William, who is married to Shelley and is Ralph's best friend. And the play begins with Ralph sort of looking at a wall, plastered over with flyers and things like this, and seeing behind some of the flyers just the top portion of the face of a horse. And he tears some of the flyers down to reveal more of the horse. And he goes and tells Shelley and William about this. And then we flash back to when they were children. And so the three of them, William, Ralph, and Shelley, are hanging around and doing sort of general kids stuff. And Ralph and Shelley's mother wants a bunch of the kids, not these three kids, but also their friends, to come over and draw on the wall with chalk, to do chalk drawings. And this is overheard by a girl named Danielle, who is incredibly shy, like cripplingly shy. So she overhears this, and she basically sort of turns up at their house to ask if she can draw on the wall. And I mean, they don't really know her. They know her by sight, but she's not part of their crowd. But nevertheless, they allow her to come in and to draw on the wall. And they basically just sort of leave her to her own devices. And what we get, one of the things that's striking to me about this play is that there's a lot that's technically interesting here. And this is one of those scenes that I would love to see it staged, because while I can sort of visualize it in my head, the way that I'm visualizing it is really like movie or TV special effects, more than this is something happening live on stage. So I would love to have seen how this was done, or to see how this is done in a future performance. So we get some stage directions, and there's one tiny bit of dialogue here, and I'll let you know when the dialogue comes. So William, Ralph, and Shelley are playing cards. Danielle's been left to her own devices to draw on this wall. It says, Shelley, William, and Ralph focus on the card game, completely unaware of Danielle and what she's about to go through. Danielle puts pencil crayon to wall, and the horse comes through the wall slowly. He is skittish around her, checking out his space. She moves toward him. He looks slightly dangerous, but she's not afraid. The horse glows with energy, radiating everything that Danielle isn't. It has strength, confidence, freedom, power. Danielle slowly, carefully continues to approach the horse. She reaches out, her hands desperate to touch him, and at the same time afraid he'll disappear the moment they make contact. He swings her around, fast and amazing at first, then tenderly. She slides down the front of the horse slowly, her back against him, her face glowing. She makes a huge sound of joy and release. She laughs and giggles like the child she has a right to be. Danielle says, "I knew you'd be here. I knew it." Back to stage directions. She closes her eyes, still radiant. The horse slips away from her and back through the wall. She turns to find him gone. There's a moment of sadness as she allows the power to leave her. She goes toward the wall. A large, magnificent creation of the horse is on the wall. Danielle puts the last touch on her creation and then neatly puts the remaining pencil crayons back into the package. So she has this transcendent experience, and she draws this amazing depiction of a horse. She wins the prize for the best drawing on the wall, because Ralph and Shelley's mom is going to give a prize every week for the best drawing, and Danielle wins it, no contest, because this horse is just amazing. It's the way that it's described, it's mesmerizing. Like, Ralph and Shelley want to keep it on the wall forever, like make it permanent. So this happens, and as we go through the play, we start to find out a little bit more about Danielle. We get bits and pieces of her story. We don't get that much at a time because she's incredibly quiet, she's incredibly shy, and so we don't learn much about her. But we learned that her mother is an alcoholic. Her mother's boyfriend is abusive. It's not entirely clear that he's abusive to Danielle, but I think we're supposed to read that into it. He's definitely abusive to Danielle's mother. Danielle's mother is at least verbally abusive, and they both neglect Danielle. So she's in an incredibly bad situation. And so Ralph especially takes an interest in Danielle. He becomes really just dedicated to helping this girl. And at one point he asks her where the horse came from. And Danielle tells this story, and I'm gonna read most of the story. So she says, "When I was 6, back when my dad was alive, he took me to that fair they have in Campbellford. They had pony rides there. I remember this big lineup of kids, and there was only one pony for all those kids." Shelley says, "Yeah, we had one of those at Indian days. Remember, Ralph?" Danielle says, "We had to stand in line for a long time before I got a chance to ride, and I kept watching that pony. They put one kid after another on its back, and it would go around in a circle, and around, wearing out a path in the grass. Sometimes its eyes weren't even open. That's all it ever did. Just went around in a circle all day, every day. And I felt sad for it. It looked old, unhappy, and its back was bent. When it was my turn to ride, I started crying. I felt so sorry for that poor pony, I didn't want to ride it." And Ralph asks, "What's that got to do with your horse?" Danielle says, "A couple of months later, my dad died. And things got different at home, and I never stopped thinking of that pony, thinking how sad its life must be. I wondered if it dreamed of better things when his eyes were closed. Then it began to change. When I'd think of him, he grew bigger, got stronger, got real beautiful, and I began to wonder if all things could change, be different if they had better places to live, people who loved them. That makes me want to draw the horse even more. It makes the horse happy." So, again, we've got this very heavy issue of child abuse, neglect, etc. here. And this horse has become like a spiritual safety blanket for Danielle. Like, the image of this horse, the idea of this horse comforts her in a way that nothing else in her life is capable of doing, because she literally just doesn't have a support system. And so we have those elements of it. And Ralph and Shelley. So William. So I'll put this out there. William initially is jealous of Danielle's ability to draw the horse, and so he gives her a hard time. And because she is very shy, because she's very scared, very skittish, she is uncomfortable around William, to put it mildly. But Ralph and Shelley decide that they want to basically become Danielle's support network. And so they actually get their mom to try and see if she can adopt Danielle, to get her out of this abusive home. But Danielle's mother won't agree. Shortly after that, there's an incident where actually Ralph gets drawn into this fantasy world of Danielle's, and he sees the horse and he almost touches it, and Danielle freaks out, and then she runs away, and for several days no one knows where she is. And finally William comes by, because Ralph and Shelley have had a falling out with William because of the way that he's been treating Danielle. So finally he comes by and sort of offhandedly but purposefully lets it slip that he's seen Danielle down at the fort, the play fort that boys have built up over generations. So they go down and they find Danielle there, and basically they're able to sort of comfort her and get her at least physically safe, because she's just been sleeping in this fort under a ragged sleeping bag and stuff like this. And William gives her his lunch, so William is redeemed. But Danielle tells them that her mom's boyfriend has gotten a new job and that he's going to take them to Toronto in 2 days. And they desperately want to keep Danielle there with them, but they can't. There's no mechanism for doing it. And so that takes us to the final scene of the play, which takes us back actually to the beginning, where William, Shelley, and Ralph were adults. Because they go... So Ralph goes and gets William and Shelley and takes them back to this wall where he's found this painting of the horse. And they uncover it. And they're not sure. Ralph is sure. Ralph knows in his gut that this was painted by Danielle. William and Shelley are somewhat less convinced. Actually, Shelley is the least convinced. William actually, once the whole horse is uncovered, because they tear the rest of the flyers and stuff off of it. So once it's uncovered, William is sure. And so they decide that they're going to find Danielle. They're going to... Sorry. They don't know how they're going to do it, but they decide that they're going to locate her. And William says, let's go get something to eat. Maybe we can come up with some ideas on how to find her. We let her get away once, and that happened. So we've got this element of redemption, the importance of friendship, and this unwillingness to give up on their friend again, to lose their friend again.